るあの日残る声が刻まれた記憶揺らいで壊れかけたかのに暗い闇が絡めた鎖を解き放てばそう遠く遠く果てなく手と手取り合えれば明日帰っていけるいつかきっとたどり着ける二人描いたその未来へと時をつなげて
Hello everyone and welcome to Eden. There were only two on the planet. Visual novel. This visual novel is made by Minori and Manga Gamer also, and this game seemed to be made on Musica visual novel engine. So yeah, without further ado, let us start, shall we? Oh, okay,
何度も
so
自分に言い聞かせる。手を止めてしまえばいやおうなしに心が過去に飛んでしまうから。思い出は優しく愛しく美しくて切ない。一度そこに浸ってしまえば戻ってこられなくなるかもしれない。だからひたすらに手を動かし続ける。何も考えず地面にぽっかりと開いた穴を広げていく。何も考えずに。でも無理だった。心が飛ぶ。胸をよぎったのは何でもないただの一日のこと。あの時彼女は
So yeah, this visual novel is actually fully voiced, including the main character, and there's also animation on the characters. So yeah, although it might not be the same kind of animation you seen, for example, on my Tokyo School Life playthrough, but it's still animation and whatnot, so yeah. But the narrative parts aren't voiced, so I guess I will just do the narrative part and, you know, just go with that, because the main character actually speaks as well. She stood in the wind. She walked silently across the light green carpet and ascended that gentle incline. By the way, I have muted my this headset because I found out that these these headsets are faulty, which means the microphone was faulty and picking up the game audio when I was recording, so I had to mute these in order to not you guys to hear the annoying echo on the background. However, it does pick up the game audio still, but yeah, I have to speak for my webcam microphone until I get a new headset shipped free of charge from the same company that made these, because these are faulty and I'm basically waiting for them to send me the working ones. So yeah. Okay. Her long hair fluttered in the wind, which carried the touch of a humidity. I walked behind her, close enough that her hair might have touched my hand, and I reached out. I was careful not to disturb her while she basked in the sunlight. The fragrance of grass and the song of the trees swaying in the breeze wafted all around us. Suddenly, a clear, high-pitched sound like whistle echoed nearby. Sion halted and looked up at the sky. In the distance, a white bird danced around in the deep blue sky. It circled repeatedly as though searching for something. Little by little it flew higher until its figure disappeared in the distance. She dashed. Her steps were light, as though she wouldn't allow herself to feel the weight of her body, just like that bird. I hurried after her.
待って。
シオン、
So our main character name is Rio, and this girl is called Xian. She must have not heard me. Once she began to run, she would not relent. She was chasing that bird, now more than a dot on the sky, as far as she could. However, cruelly enough, the path ended. She stood exhausted at the peak of the hill, the side of a hazy mountain ridge, with a lake stretching below was shimmered in the distance.
行っちゃった。
The bird was nowhere to be seen. Sion was panting, but continued to gaze at the sky.
あの鳥はどこへ向かったのかな。
さあ、
Saw? I shook my head gently.
案外どこでもないのかもしれないな。
That's true.
空が続く限りどこまでも。
I don't know if you guys can see, but if you full screen this, you can actually see her lips moving ever so slightly at times. She tilted her head as a faint smile crept into her face. The girl in her one-piece dress smiled amidst the endless green expanse. I felt like I had detached from reality, like I had wandered into a fairy tale.
そうだといいな。
Yep. Her eyes looked once more to the sky.
今日はまたひときわ強く輝いてる。
The sun, the sky, the clouds, and an ominously red solitary star shone in the sky she stared so intently into. As long as that star was in the sky, this fairy tale would not have a happy ending. That star which glimmered even so midday was a symbol of destruction that would arrive in a not so distant future.
だけどまだ時間はある。
Yeah. By the way, I have actually played this game just a little. Well, more like 2 hours. But even though the beginning might be a little sluggish and slow, but we are going to get into the different part of game eventually soon enough.
世界はまだ終わらない。そうだろ。
It seemed to me as if she paused for a moment before nodding. Xian undoubtedly understood much more about this world than I did. She likely knew many things she did not need to know as well.
なあシオン。世界って本当に終わるんだろうか。
終わる。
This time she nodded without a moment's hesitation.
だけど終わりがあるから今を生きるのが楽しい。それを教えてくれたのがここの暮らしとあなた。
Let's see if I can config this a little because these are pretty much blaring right now. Alright.
ね、りょう。
I stopped breathing for an instant. How do you stop breathing? It's like... Her smile was beautiful. That expression, those words, I couldn't sense an ounce of regret or doubt.
俺はそんなこと言ったか。
I managed to calm my heart and say it as bluntly as possible.
りょうが忘れても私が忘れない。絶対に忘れない。
Her gaze rose to the sky again.
もう少し。
Just a little longer of what? She looked like a saint offering a prayer to heavens.
もう少しだけ。私はこの空と雲の下にいたい。
She gazed longingly into the endless distance. Such a simple wish. I'll grant it. That was my purpose after all.
りょう、
なんだ。
私はここにいたい。あなたと一緒に。
Wow. We returned to the field at the end of our post-lunch walk. The temperature rose just a little, so I told Sion she should go back to the house, but...
一人で戻ってもやることなんてない。お客さん扱いしないで。私だって少しは役に立つの。
She put it that way, I couldn't stop her. Speaking of which, she had been picking the auxiliary parts from the tomatoes for a while now. I didn't think it was job required such concentration. I stopped digging the potato field at the sound of her tiny shriek.
シオン、どうかしたのか。
I stood up and rushed to her side.
ミミズ。
You got scared by a earthworm. Great start. I stared at her silently.
でもやっぱり何度見てもとてもグロテスク。
She was sheltered into a such extreme that she had almost never came into contact with them before. It wasn't just the earthworms. She had only seen insects in encyclopedias.
そろそろ慣れてもいいんじゃないか。畑仕事始めて、もう。
Oops, sorry. I'm going to go to the line again because I accidentally got it.
そろそろ慣れてもいいんじゃないか。畑仕事始めて、もう2ヶ月にもなるぞ。
So yeah, she was a little disheartened. Perhaps I had teased her too much.
ああ、シオン。
はい。
そのミミズ、捕まえてビニール袋にでも入れておいてくれ。ついでに他にもいないか探してみて。
ミミズを食べるの？
Who will eat a earthworm? Come on, seriously.
食べるわけないだろう。夕方になったら釣りに行くから餌にするんだよ。
Yeah.
こんな生き物を？
Yep. She seemed to be experiencing some culture shock. I never got tired of watching her. The previous dignified Xion was fine, but I couldn't help to be amused by the way she gussed over everything she saw like a child.
じゃあ頑張って集めてみる。
あ、大いに頑張ってくれ。
She gazed at while the potatoes were planted. At where? Sorry.
じゃがいも葉がだいぶ広がってる。
ああ、もう少しで収穫できそうだな。土の下をちょっと見てみたが、割といい感じに。
Wait just a second.
今気づいたけど、まだ種芋植えてから30日くらいしか経ってないぞ。なんでこんなに成長してるんだ？
I don't know.
それは遺伝子改造された品種だから。
遺伝子改造？
移民船での栽培用に改良された品種。
How do you know, Xion?
船にはスペースもエネルギーも限られてるから、促成可能でわずかな養分でも成長する種が作られたの。
それがこのジャガイモなのか？
She gave a small nod.
短期間で収穫可能で、極論すれば砂漠やシベリアでも育つような強い種なの。
Like deserts or Siberia. What?
シオン、なんでそんなに詳しいんだ？
Yeah, Xion, tell us.
遺伝子を調整したのは私だもの。他にもナスやトマト、キュウリ、大根、人参、セロリ。
Wait, what? You have the one that modified their genes? Okay, fair enough.
セロリは嫌いだから調整したくなかったけど、むしろ根絶やしにさせてやりたいくらい。
I would have rather exterminated it, lol. Well, I don't blame you. I don't like celery either. If I wasn't mistaken, she was a mechanical engineer. Why she was working on those sorts of things? I thought she'd be virtually helpless when it came to field work and agriculture. But clearly I was mistaken.
で、ミミズを集めてみるけど。
She peered into my eyes.
餌を集めるだけじゃ面白くないから。だから、私にも釣りを教えて。
あ、いいよ。
ありがとう、りょう。
Man, that verse is so... You know. Evening came and we returned to our cottage. I don't know what is the right word to say. I think I just gonna say cottage. Of course we had to eat that after that manual labor, but there was something else we had to do first. We left today's harvest in the kitchen, and I went into the living room with Xian.
それじゃあシオン、始めるよ。
She nodded obediently and took her seat. By the way, now you're able to see actually the lip movement a little clearer. I examined the lining of her eyes and hue of the inside of her mouth and confirmed nothing was particularly out of the ordinary. I took her pulse and blood pressure and then her temperature, whatever. Nothing seems peculiar here either.
何か自分でおかしいと思うところはないか？
Here you can see the lift movement right about now.
それ朝も聞いた。
Yeah. See, even though it's not, a slight movement like on, like Nekopara and Tokyo School Life, it's still movement, sort of like more anime-ish style.
朝は朝、今は今だ。で、
大丈夫。何かあったら隠さずに言うから。
シオンも無理しそうだからな。いまいち信用しきれないんだよ。
私は何も包み隠さないつもりなのに、心外。なんなら、触診でもする？聴診器を当ててみるのもいいかも。
Having said that, she suddenly reached for the shoulder of her dress.
ちょっと待った。
Yeah, wait a second.
あなたに信用してもらうため。徹底的にやれば、亮も納得する。
待った。わかったから。俺の負けだ。
Yeah.
負け？
She removed her hand from her shoulder and tilted her head curiously, like, Good grief. This was why I couldn't deal with the airheads.
でも、
Her expression stiffened.
本当に、亮がどうしても気になるなら、どんな検査でも受けるから。
I could see a tinge of red in her face. Of course, it probably wasn't because of her poor health. Just how much of it was because she was naive, and how much was intentional?
まあ、そういう遠慮をしてるわけじゃないしな。
そういう？
いや、俺も軍でごく初歩的な医療技術を聞きかじっただけだからさ。
In reality, I wasn't capable of making genuine diagnosis. The best I could do was follow Elika's notes and perform a layman's inspection. Basically, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically this scene right here, I think it's taking place in the future. And the actual gameplay is taking the place in the past or something. So yeah.
とりあえず、異常はなさそうだからよしとしよう。晩飯にしようか。
She nodded with a smile, her cheeks still faint blush. Right. Thinly sliced ham and lettuce between the bread, vegetable soup and lightly seasoned foil roasted salmon. The night's dinner was the modest, but Sion enjoyed it all the same. She was smiling from start to finish.
美味しかった。やっぱり亮は料理がお上手。
そりゃどうも。
It was a little embarrassing to be praised by someone sitting right in front of me. I placed some after-dinner tea before her. I set down my chair and sat on the other side of the table. Blow, blow. Sion's tongue was a little sensitive, so she blew her steaming drink to cool it down. I could have just brewed it cooler to begin with, but it was amusing watch her do this. It was a guilty pleasure of mine.
何を見てるの？
いや、なんでもないよ。
Although Sion looked suspicious, her attention quickly returned to her cup.
今日も楽しかった。本当にこんな時間が過ごせるだなんて。
Our days were uneventful. We mostly spent our time working from dawn to dusk in order to keep food on the table. Very farm-like life, I would say. But she considers much a mundane everyday life fun. I couldn't help but feel a little sad.
では、私は先にお風呂に入らせてもらってもいい？
ああ、俺は後片付けをしてるから。
じゃあ。
She was about to stand but suddenly stopped.
りょう。
どうかしたのか？
What is it?
たまには一緒に入らない？
What? Indeed. I nearly dropped my cup.
あのな、一体何を言ってるんだよ。
Yeah, my words exactly.
私、やっぱり一人で入浴するのが慣れなくて。
Not used? This certainly wasn't your ordinary shut-in.
いいから、さっさと入ってきな。
Yeah.
でも、背中や髪を一人で洗うのが大変で。
一人で洗えるように努力してくれ。
Yeah.
りょうは冷淡。
She left the living room sounding disappointed. What a troublesome girl. But for the two of us to live together like this, and for me to be willing to wait her, was this sort of thing inevitable? What about my own feelings? How did I feel about her? When she says or does something provocative things like so innocently, I feel like a cage around my heart is falling apart. Although this probably wasn't a bad thing. Not in the slightest. From the sound of her breathing, I was certain she had fallen asleep. I stood there from the chair beside her bed and dimmed the lights. I considered leaving the room, but decided to return my seat instead. Her breathing was normal, but not particularly erratic. She was fine. I was just worrying too much. Her hand slipped out from the under the comforter. I don't know. There. I gently took her hand and put it back under the covers. But suddenly she squeezed back. It wasn't particularly strong grip, but it was enough that I couldn't let go. Her pitted hand white as snow, I solidly squeezed back. Her hand was a little cold, but I could certainly feel her warmth. Her mouth was moving ever so slightly, like she was repeating the same words over and over. What was she whispering? As I began to lean in, I suddenly stopped. Even in the darkness, I could clearly see it. A trickle of tears streamed from her closed eyes. What could be so sad? Could they be tears shed for someone she once knew? How much sadness is she carrying in her dreams, in her heart? I slowly released her hand. Unable to even wipe her tears away, I turned my back to her. I can't face these sorrows with you just yet, because I'm still unable to deal with my own. I still remember the soft sensation of her hand from that time. There was no way I could forget. It was incapable of forgetting all the time I spent with her. I mean.
汚れちまったな。
I stared closely at my hands. They were covered in mud. The skin was cracking underneath and spots of blood were oozing into the surface. I would have been fine to burn some working clothes, but I never once considered it. No, I knew I would be digging such a big hole, so using a shovel would have been an obvious choice.
何をやってるんだ俺
Yeah, what in the world was I doing? I felt like I've been asking myself that my entire life. Except for the time I spent with her. The cold wind felt wonderful on my raw, stinging hands. Shall I return to the past once more? I remember everything, from the beginning to end, so that I can move these hands again. Did I make any mistakes leading up to this day, this very spot? Was there nothing I could have said? Was there anything I should have not said? What was it that I did for you? Let me remember, one thing at a time. I slowly closed my eyes. Some months ago, there were many people on the planet.
楽な仕事であることは保証するよ。
Okay, let's see. Why, hello there! Anyways, I'm going to save here. Let's see, save. Save. LP1. Alright. Well, that was Eden episode 1. Hope you liked it, and if you did, thumbs up, comment down below what you think about so far. And I'll see you later. Have a great one and bye bye!